Hello everyone, welcome to Battle Cry of Freedom. This is a closed alpha test event run by the devs with, as you can see, pretty good attendance. So lots of fellas in here today and we're looking forward to a good line battle. Now, a couple of things. Obviously bear in mind this is still test server. So you may see the odd jankiness every now and then, the occasional blip, plop, whatever, you'll see. Now these are ammo boxes that can be dragged into position by the gentleman from the artillery section. Now, for those of you who are interested in Spectator Mode, which is pretty much probably only me, you have the ability to set bookmarks. So we can press F1, which is a bookmark I've set. That takes us to the spawn of the Confederate State Army. Now, if I press F2, it takes us to the spawn of the Union Army. And these are ones that you do with F1 and F2, and you can set whether you want that to be on Shift F1 and Shift F2. So, very, very helpful. Very, very helpful indeed. Now, here you can see none of this horse rolling stuff out crap. You know, these guys got to put their back into it. They've got to really push the cannon into position. So you can see some members there from the 14th US. Look at these fine fellows. Complete with dragging the box. So, as you can see, the lads are moving out. Here, the fine fellows of the 33rd Regiment. Now, you're going to have somebody called Kincaid at the front. There he is. There's that boy. Marching out with the lads, and you can see flags, all the rest of it. So we'll be keeping an eye on those guys. Oh, look at this. Up on the hill, you can see already these fellows have started to form a significant line. Look at this. Fantastic stuff. And it looks like, yeah, the 14th US and also the 33rd Ohio are in there as well. Under the command of Captain Zulan. And the bullets start to fly. And this is a random map created by, obviously, random. So, whoa! Cannonballs already. Oh my goodness, look at that. A nice volley coming in from these fellows of the 33rd. Another volley coming in from the 47th Alabama. You can see there's a mixture of people in here. All sorts of people. Building up the line. So, we're just going to look up above. Now, you can press H or hide the HUD should you wish to do any kind of cinematic doodah. You have options, obviously, to hide. Oh, blimey, look at that cannonball hitting the dirt. And the volumetric fogging, obviously. This... Oh, that cannonball whistling over the camera. Fantastic to hear. So, what we're going to do is fly around. Find out what's going on. What's afoot on the battlefield. Now you can... Oh, listen to those bullets whistle past. Now, oh dear. It's the 77th. Oh my goodness, it's Aztir. There he is, the Ginger Ninja himself, checking through his binocs. And other members of the 77th. There's Major High Lord. Looking very dapper with his sword. Doesn't he look fantastic? And you can hear the horns being played, the bugles. Look at these fellows. There's O'Keefe here from the TGV, making their way forward, following their commanding officer. There we go. Von Winkler. Complete with band as well. Fifer of choice is Mr. Freestyle. Now, VI could be Virginia, we don't know yet. Fine fifing coming in from that gentleman to raise the morale of the lads as they walk forwards. Look to be making maybe a sort of trying to get an outflanking position. Things are not hectic yet. They can all walk into... Oh, look at that wheel round. Oh, that's a thing of beauty. Look at that. That's what I love about Napoleonic Wars players playing games like this. They're so well drilled. Obviously, that's been beaten into them with large sticks. But, you know... Oh, cannonball! Holy hell! Okay, that changed the initiative somewhat significantly. I think we'll file that definitely under the holy crap section. And these guys are starting to take a lot of fire. Let's see. Obviously, you can see some fellows from the Union forces over there in the distance. The sunset, the sun is going down. And you've got additional supporting forces moving up on their right flank. Look at this. Just bodies everywhere. Oh, TGV are suffering badly. They're going to have to pull back. They're being attacked from multiple directions. Oh, hello. Who's this over here? Who's done a little bit of damage? Mind the rock. Oh, hello. What are you up to? Here we've got the 5th Texans. Or the 5th Texas, I should say. My apologies. And the 83rd Philadelphia? Or Pennsylvania? I think PA is Pennsylvania. I think PH is Philadelphia. But anyway. Now these guys being forced to tactically retreat. Because they've been coming under sustained fire. As you can see, they're losing their numbers. As they move back to a better position. The 15th Virginia. And they're taking cover behind the rocks. Look at those bullets being stopped by the rocks. Fantastic position here for them. This is definitely a safer position for them. And out comes the 6-shooter of the commanding officer. But these guys now reloading. And they're getting themselves ready. And we've got some fellows in here from Maine, Virginia, Rhode Island maybe. Oh, correction. One less. Look at this. There we go. There's Maine. Wow. Fantastic stuff. So, let's have a look around. Here we are, following the members of the 39th New York. Now, oh goodness. Now, let's see. Stryker, Colonel Stryker. Leading the boys forward. Good stuff indeed. Making their way over the open field. And they've got to watch out for the incoming fire. Be it musket balls or mini balls. Or cannonballs. Either way, both are bad for the health. Cannonballs obviously significantly more so. But you can see them moving through the trees here. And moving in on an opposing force. Who are going to be pulling back very quickly. Look at this. The flag waving. And now... There we go. TGV repelling borders with some sustained fire. But they've come under ambush from a lot of men. A lot of Union forces. But they're also supported on the flank as well. By additional Confederate state forces who are quickly mopped up. And the TGV gentlemen are currently receiving bayonets. Which obviously is not conducive to healthy living. And they have all... Oh, have they? Okay. They have all been unceremoniously murdered. Because, yeah, obviously. And my headphone doodah keeps unplugging itself, which is slightly annoying. I guess it's kind of caught under my belly and big fat belly and all the rest of it and just keeps pulling it out. But anyway, that aside, let's see how these fine fellows of the 39th New York are getting on. Supported by their teammates over here. Look at those god rays coming in from the sunset. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. So, just had to adjust things. Right, now, you can see the home spawn. We can go over here to the home spawn, and it looks like the Union are attacking the Confederate State Army in their home spawn. You can see the other home spawn for the Union forces over on the other side. And the Confederate State Army has repelled borders against the attacking Union forces. The cannon remains in place. And fine work being done. Ah, there's Mr. Charlie the Turtle, Captain. Look at that. A face of determination right there. And he is supported by... There's Mats. And there is another person here, I think. In fact, there are multiple people here. White Knight, officer in charge. Who's this over here? Ralakesh, also. And there he is. Captain Cannonball himself, Mr. Angle. So, he's keeping an eye on what's going on around him, just in case they have to turn the cannons about face. Because right now, you can see... they're kind of pointing to one side. Oh! Heavens above! That was a fantastic shot! Cannonball comes in, and the shrapnel that explodes just takes out everybody in the artillery section. That was just amazing. Absolutely fantastic. And now you can see Eddie trying to defend himself from the attacking Union forces. And the Confederate State cannon position has been overrun. So, let's see. More murdering is occurring over here. And we can go over here to one of the home spawns. There we go. Confederate. And F2 takes us to the home spawn of the Union forces. So, let's go and have a look. Oh my goodness, it's a weasel. And here, there's Cyber. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The first round, the Union are victorious. And we move on to the next round. Hello, everyone. We're back on the next round here at the Confederate State Camp. Complete with drummers, fifers, and all that goodness. And the forces getting themselves organised into their regiments. Shall we have a look elsewhere? At the Union camp. And camp being the operative word. Anyway. Oh my goodness, look at the core strength of that man. That's a seriously heavy ammo box. And oh my goodness, look at that. That's some serious carrying ability right there. Oh, somebody getting Ingrid's rocks off. Dear, oh dear. Now, obviously, better weather now. Or I would say during the day, maybe sort of start of the day. Sort of early morning just past. And now, the Union regiments are moving out to attack the enemy. Now, we'll have to see what kind of form this attack takes. But look at this, the numbers moving out. You can see the green bars for the Union, the red bars are the Confederate State Army. So it's easy to see who is who, because you can still see the bars. Well, I can. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the eventual video, but once it gets up to high definition, then yes, you should be able to see it. So, you know, little things that would improve, this is just from a spectator's point of view, is if you zoomed out, then if they were all within the same regiment banner, it would show a marker for that regiment. So essentially you could go out significantly far distance to get a very overviewish movement of the regiments. I don't know how feasible that is on a technical level for the developers, but it's just a suggestion. And you can see here the shrapnel from a nearby cannonball. Oh my goodness, listen to that cannonball whistle past the camera. That was fantastic. So the boys got to be very careful. They're going to be doing a lot of ducking, because they've got to stay out of trouble. And here we go. The 3rd United States. Look at these guys. And there's Cyber from the 3rd. Drumming! Excellent drumming. We heartily approve of drummers. There we go, there's Hobo. With some serious drum work. Oh, Nelly! Wow. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, cannonballs are a big part, as you can see. They break apart into multiple shrapnel. And that shrapnel can be devastating to the enemy, as we saw in the previous round. So, we're going to have a look around. The 14th BK. Who's this fellow? That's the only thing I will say is it'd be nice if I could make the text a bit bigger for my poor stupid eyes. Oh my goodness, it's Av from the 77Y. Here's the 77Y in their artillery position. Look at that. Commands going out. Rearming occurring. Engineering work under the fine tutelage of Mr. Angle there. Going out to chop a tree down, I guess. Or possibly catch a cannonball. We don't know yet. So, we'll have to wait and see. Let's have a look around. Oh, hello. We're now with the Confederate State Artillery Section. Firing at the enemy. There goes one of the trees. Oh dear. Got knocked over by the cannon as it moved backwards. A tad unfortunate, but you know, these things happen. That's Matt's. Got knocked over by the cannon. So, let's have a look around. There he is. The High Lord himself. Trying to avoid getting killed by trees. This can actually happen. A tree can explode, fall on you, and kill you. As the devs have actually proven themselves. Listen to the horn. As the enemy are moving in on their position. Here they come. It's the 20th Maine. With Lieutenant Colonel Halbert, I think it is. Making his way past to support the artillery section of the 77th. So, let's go and have a look, see what everything's going on. The Confederate State position. You can still hear the cannon hadn't moved that far. They've actually gone to a hill, so they can repel boarders from this hill. And so you can see they can now fire in multiple directions. You've got the artillery guard nearby as well. Just providing a little bit of extra fire support down into the hill. We've got these fine fellows here. From the 4E. And they're providing a little bit of extra fire down into the open field to make sure anybody coming this way keeps the head down for fear of it being shot off. Now, it's distinctly possible Here we go. Look at this. In a light formation here. So that's why they're very spread out. And in the position of the lights. Now, the USC probably stands for something, but I'm not 100% certain what it is. I'll need to clarify that. Oh, fine. Volley coming in from the lads. They back off. Because, if you look up here... Here's their target. Taking cover behind stone and wood. You have the members of the 58th... New York State Volunteers, I presume that is. And look at all these fellows. Making use of the good cover to fire back at the enemy. Meanwhile, supporting their right flank, they have these fellows who are moving up. Now, Pennsylvanians moving up. And let's see. So there's Wilbert. You can see him getting in, and they're going to be starting to move even closer to the enemy. Might need to change my settings on my mouse. Let's see. Miscellaneous. Mouse sensitivity. Let's double it. No, it's still relatively slow compared to anything else, but anyway. So. Oh heavens, what's he doing here? He's spawned, but not going anywhere. The 39th New York are now moving in to support their teammates, including this fellow who's decided to cheese it from the Iron Brigade. Now let me just quickly check my settings, because video, see FPS limit, these are all the things that you can choose to control with respect to, see, multiplayer settings, cinematic movement, frames, cinematic rotation, player setting. Anyway, we're missing some murdering. So you can see here, murderization is occurring. The Union forces definitely have the better of the Confederate State Army. Oh, look at that. And he's been murdered. So, I probably need to delve further into my settings just to fine-tune it. And here you can see the members of the 39th New York. Advisor Thorn being tended with a little bit of bandaging care there. The flag being held by Volunteer OG from the 3rd New Jersey. And you can see these lads start to move out. We'll have to see what they're aiming for. Or they could be looking to support their teammates over here, who are the Union forces. Oh dear. Look at this. The numbers are in favor of the Union, but the Confederate State Army are acquitting themselves relatively well. And they're now taking bullet fire as well. They're going to start moving up. You can see the Union cannon. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? These bundles of logs and earthenworks to protect the cannon from other cannonballs. Oh my goodness, it's a foggy fecker. This is going to change the entire structure of the battle, as now you can see The Union forces breaking and attacking against the remaining Confederates. As you can see, there's not many left. But they're trying to defend themselves as best they can. Sadly, it was not to be. As fog descends. An early morning fog, I suppose you could say. We'll have to wait and see. Commander gone. And there we go. We're back with the 4th US. Over by the cannons. Additional forces coming in to support them. Look at that earthworks. Fine earthworks going in there from Bentham. Or Bentham. Complete with shovel on his back. So it gives you even an idea of the kind of defences you can put up for the cannons. Oh, look at that! Shrapnel being fired in this general direction. Let's go and see if we can find some more of the enemy. Oh, hello. The 5th Georgia. Currently hiding behind a rock. Understandably so. And there you go, there's the all charge. At 1 minute. We're 43 seconds away. These guys are going to get a surprise. Hello. Look behind you, fellas. So the nice defences that have been put in place by the engineers. Very helpful indeed. So we're 15 seconds away from the all charge. The cannons continuing to provide support. Oh, hello. Bit of destruction occurring. And here we go, it's all charge. So, if, in case you're wondering, Fick, that's firing in the charge. Here comes the ambush. Let's go, boys. From behind. There we go. Look at this. He's after him. He's got the sword out. Taken roughly from behind. It's Joshua. Yep, 3 down. And it's the drummer. Oh, goodness me. Look at that. Doing the damage. They're going in for a little bit of slight murdering. Now, obviously, if you've got a bayonet with a rifle with a bayonet on the end, you've got significantly more reach than a sword. And that's going to be important. Well, precisely. Oh, dear, he's been stabbed. And he's been murdered in return. Oh, look at this. This is looking good for the Confederate State Army right now. Okay, less good for him. More are appearing. Commander gone. Or gone. Is he soon to be gone? Oh, bit of a team kill maybe. A team damage going on. There we go. The gone is gone. Now we can just see. Alive 2 versus alive 2. And there we go. Oh heavens. And here we are on a new map for the next round. At the Union spawn, we'll disappear over to the Confederate spawn, as you can see. And quickly jump around thanks to the bookmarking system. Very helpful indeed. And you can see them getting set up into all their various regiments. The cannons are spawning. The regiments are getting set up. Look at these fellows, all organised, standing there ready to go. Wonderfully organised. The 20th Maine. Hmm. Fourth Virginia. And up on the hill, we have Frank from TGV, checking through his binocs to see what the enemy is planning. Obviously, we're looking at the Union spawn over here, so now you've got the Confederate State Army troops moving out. Just making sure everything's working, from my end anyway. So they're going to be moving towards that position. Now, let's see. Oh yes. Oh, we're following Aztir, which basically means he won't be alive for very long. Basically, due to the commentator's curse. And, let's face it, the track record of Aztir is not good. So we'll have to wait and see. Oh, hello, look at this. Troops appearing over the hill. Far from the village. Look at that. Look at these boys, don't they look fantastic? Double line as well. Raining fire down onto that hamlet. And then you've got the lights over here. Fusilier dust of the 33rd. Fine fifery. And there's some horn work from Volunteer Mark. So these guys in the light formation, raining fire down onto the 77Y, who are currently hiding behind this building. Oh, hello. Shots coming out of the building. Hello. There's Tweet, hiding inside, obviously. Making use of the space available. Not a huge amount of space inside this particular building. You can see them making their way in here. Making their way out, as a fence seems to have been built right through the centre of this building. Quite a feat of 18th century building work, but yeah. Not sure about that one. Anyway, go and have a look. Corporal King of the 47th Alabama. Oh, hello. The 5th Georgia. Don't these fellows look lovely? There's Vilnius. Corporal of the 5th Georgia on the fife. Where is it? So, let's see. Now they're starting to push towards the Union spawn area. Now it's possible they may not find a huge amount of them there, but the musician corps behind them, supporting them, along with the fine flag, the Confederate battle flag. Oh, looks like they've lost a few of them. Oh dear, they've been ambushed. They've been ambushed. Who are the ambushees? It looks like the 33rd Volunteers Snowy has come in, and these guys have moved up and ambushed them while they were getting themselves set up, and now, oh, cut down as they charged in. The flag is waving bravely as they move forward to engage the Union forces, and it may not last very long when that's exactly what happened. The Union detachment cut down the Confederate State Army, and down goes the battle flag of the Confederate State Republic. So, the Union, let's have a look at the numbers. 84 compared to 81. So it's still pretty close. Still pretty damn close. So, let's see, shall we? Follow up the fellows from New York. Look at that. Cannons taking off. Just amputating trees. Oh, hello. Looks like the artillery section up here is about to have a bad day. Yep, the Confederate State Artillery under a lot of pressure right now. Look at this. There's Cam, I think it is, taking a run for it, as the rest of the Confederate State forces are finished off by this large Union detachment. Cam deciding sensibly to cheese it. One man standing back, trying to hold back the hordes. Sadly, it was not to be. Oh, hello. We've got some reinforcements with bullets. Some bullety reinforcements coming in on the Union forces, but sadly, it doesn't look like it's going to be enough of them. The members of the 2nd USC, they're being cut to pieces by the Union forces. As you can see, the Reds slowly being cut out of the battle by the determined bayoneting of the Union. So, they've been unceremoniously gutted, quite literally, both figuratively and literally. Well, precisely. I think that's what they did. And now you have additional forces here. The Union. Let's just quickly check. There's Kincaid from the 33rd, leading his boys, even though they've all got Confederate banners. He is a member of the Union forces. And now you can see them engaging at distance, because they have accuracy of about 300 feet. Roughly, I think it is. And now you can see the 77th is White Knight, and what remains of the Confederate States artillerymen are cheesing it in the opposite directions for obvious reasons. Defensive position, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Factory of Sadness, what a great name. And now they're going to have to pull back and find a defensive position supported by the cannons. Now the trouble is they've got this nice defensive wall, which is going to be very helpful for them. We'll see where the enemy is coming from. See, there is enemy over here attacking them from one side. Oh, it's the New York. It's the 9th New York. And also 1st North Carolina in there as well. But they're taking sustained fire from the enemy when an outflanking maneuver coming in from these fellows. Trying to take them out, but sadly they didn't have enough numbers. However, they will shortly. They've been forced to pull back. And they're going to come under a lot of sustained pressure right now. Because they're right on the edge of the map, as you can see. This is not good. Not good at all for them. And they've been cornered, harried, and finished off. There are still some remaining. Captain Sink. Complete with hat. So Captain Sink is basically cheesing it away from the battlefield over to what appears to be the Union spawn, which is what it is. So we're not sure where Sync is going. Oh, he's going for a bit of a murder. No, he's going to support his teammate. He's going to support Charlie the Turtle, who's got what looks like a howitzer. Oh, hello. Company has arrived in the form of Dixieland. Yeah, okay. Can't read that properly. Bit of a standoff right now between Sync and the opponent. Sync looking to push him away. Oh, gets a stab on him. Sync going in for the kill, and he gets the kill. He has protected Mr. Turtle. Mr. Turtle can continue to rain fire down on the enemy. Let's look at our numbers. 8 versus 19. Oh dear, the Confederacy have a lot of work to do. And we're with some of them now. Members of TGV. There's Frank. El Capitano. And now he's moving towards the Union spawn. And it's interesting that over here at the Union spawn is the Confederate Army. And over here by the Confederate Army is nobody. So yeah, go figure that one out if you can. Confusing as hell, but you know. As is not a reason why. So here are the Union forces supporting their artillery. Oh my goodness. This is some serious engineering work going on here. Massive bundles of sticks and logs to protect the forces defending the cannon. Oh, Vista out with the pistol. Going in for a little bit of 6 shooting murdering. Oh, listen to that. It's Captain Frank of the TGV. Looking to try and, there we go, get a nice murder. And now you can see Union forces under pressure. Confederate, oh dear, this is going to be bad. And the final Confederateman falls there. In that confrontation, the Union managed to defend their artillery position. So, 17 versus 2. Oh dear me. And it's going to be the Turtle. Here he is. Mr. Turtle and Captain Sync are the only 2 remaining. So we shall follow Mr. Turtle. Oh, fine. Stab by Mr. Turtle there. And another return stab into his enemy. And he just gets shot in the back. Oh dear, but Sync is defending himself. Unfortunately, was overrun by the sheer weight of numbers. And there you have that round. We are on to the next round, and we are at the Union camp. We'll also fly away to the Confederate camp. As you can see, the boys getting set up, ready to go. So, let's see what happens with the cannon as it's currently moving out. These fine fellows. Look at that. Pushing the cannon into position. The artillery box also being dragged into position. They're going to want to get it up on probably one of these hills and then start building defences. So one of these hills here, they're like this one here, gives you good visibility around the area. So yeah, it's all good. As you can see, Lieutenant Colonel Basil from the Massachusetts. In comes the cannon. There we go. The ammo box is dropped. The cannon is deployed. And the Union artillery will begin its bombardment. However, over by the Confederate State Army artillery section, you can see forces moving out. And up here, additional lines moving out as well. Now, I'm guessing that the artillery will be set up over here to give them good visibility. Maybe, we'll see. But at the moment, the lads are just moving out across this hill, over onto the right. Let's look around to see if we can find out where... Oh, dear me! As you can see, the cannon from the Union Army already claiming a number of casualties. That's going to be a problem. Because now the Confederate State Army has to run the gauntlet of that. Let's see if we can find out where the Confederate State... Oh, there's the core strength again. The Confederate State Artillery is located. This looks very Union-like. Here's the 77th. There's Tweet and Sparky. And Av. So it's distinctly possible they may not be running artillery on this occasion. Or there might be a separate line detachment. We'll have to wait and see. We're looking around for the cannon. Oh, look at these fellows from TGV. Double lining it into battle. Looking fantastic, obviously. Getting set up. Forming a line. And a fine volley coming out from the members of the 20th Maine. Now hiding behind the crate and the area here from the 4th Virginia. They're going to start moving out to try and support their lights over here. The members of the 2nd US. Now. Oh, goodness me, look at this. Oh, Captain takes a foot and a volley. Oh, my goodness. What a fantastic volley coming in. There's Reinderfels holding the flag. The boys reloading after their massive volley. What looks like a triple line. Oh, goodness me. That looks glorious, doesn't it? And now they start to move up to push the advantages against their enemy, who, as you can see, are being forced to retreat in the face of superior numbers right by the edge of the map, as you can see. Hello, edge of the map. As you can see, this is the edge of the map. So, they have the potential to be outflanked and... Okay, and shot as well, as you can see. Sometimes it can be advantageous to get to the edge of the map. Sometimes it cannot always pay dividends that you would hope it does. So, the 33rd Veterans looking to engage the enemy. Oh goodness, what's going on over here? Looks like the Union artillery is under fire, under pressure. And that's exactly what's happened. Oh, correction. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, actually that is the case. Or, actually, was it the Confederate State Artillery? Let's check. King. So it looks like it was actually the Confederate State Army Artillery who managed to defend their position. Uh-oh, trouble on the left, boys. This is going to be a problem. Out comes the pistol of the commanding officer. And now, oh, look at that. Murdering occurring. As they now look to have finished off the remaining members by that artillery piece. The flag waving in the background as they move their way through. So that's going to change the dynamic of the game. Look at this. What is going on here? Looks like somebody having a seizure. But they might be in a position to actually pick up a lighting wand or a ram off a dead body and possibly take charge of the cannon. We'll have to wait and see what they decide to do in that regard. However, until then, you can see these guys from the 3rd US providing a little bit of fire down towards the enemy forces, probably hiding in this building, which is where you can see the puffs of smoke coming from. So, it's Spartacus, and it's the 4E. So, Mook Spartacus, sorry, didn't we? Spartacus had a Scottish brother, but so it would appear. So, let's see what happens. There's Sorosian, or Sorosan. Oh, somebody taking cover in the Kazi, which obviously is very good as far as you can see here. Seems to be blocking a lot of bullets, so Kennedy doing a good job. Let's go out and have a look to see the other members. Oh goodness, look at this. Large number of Confederate forces circling and finishing off Union Army. Oh, hello. Oh, blimey, he's a brave fella. But unfortunately now a dead one. So, you can see members of the TGV getting set up again. There's the surgeon healing the boys up. Bandages over any wound, stop the bleeding. And then the boys will be back into the fight. Now you can see these guys taking a little bit of fire. The members of, obviously, fine fellows of the 4th Virginia. Got that fine moustache on the tiller. A Lost Viking in there as well. You can see them loading that push rod, putting it back. Peppering the very fine powder onto... Oh dear! The very fine powder onto the musket. Ready for lighting. Before the days, obviously, of cartridge. And kapow. Is he going to turn and fight? Is he going to continue running? He's carrying on running. He turns and fights. And he's looking to try and beat off these two opposing forces. Goes in for a quick stab. Kapow manages to block. Gets a kill on one of them. He's trying to stay out of the way. And he gets the double kill. Recruit Kapow from the 39th New York. Oh, I can imagine a promotions inbound for that boy. Assuming he survives the battle, of course. So, over here at the Iron Brigade, the 42nd, the cannons being set up. You can see the vernier dial. Getting ready. Gotta watch out for the movement of the cannon. Stands out of the way, fires the cannon. This is before they built things like, you know, ramparts to stop the cannon moving away and roll it back into position. Oh dear! They just lost their flag holder. He got cut down. Most likely by sustained fire coming from the house. You can see continued fire coming down as these guys make a run in. Yep, fire coming from the Kazi. They're going to make their way in, climb over the fence, and attack the Kazi. As an ambush comes out from the house. And multiple Confederate state forces trying to push back here. It's not... Oh dear, they've just lost their commanding officer. And the Confederate State forces now, down goes one of the trees. Oh dear, the cannon doing a number onto the local wildlife and arboreal life as well. So, no respecters of property or trees, but you know, I think they got bigger things on their mind under the circumstances. But the Union managed to overcome that location. So, that can only be a good thing. Now, it's nice that you can actually see the compass still. You can turn off certain things in the HUD. Oh, Nelly, cannonball. As you can see, the shrapnel that could land from such a howitzer shot can be deadly to the enemy forces. They're now moving out. Getting ready. Let's see what the numbers are like. 24 versus 41. So the Confederacy are on the back foot right now in the form of numbers. Oh, hello. Oh, goodness. So a quick fire and retreat. And let's see who their numbers are. Oh, dear. Is this... No, that's friendly. That's okay. Confederate state flag has been felled. It's been stolen by the Union forces here from the 33rd. So, the Confederate State Army have lost one of their battle flags. However, sustained fire is coming in from them onto the enemy. These fine fellows from TGV. Oh dear, one less. And two less. Oh, this is going to be bad. Yeah, they're going to have to flee. A few nice shots coming in from the enemy there. Forcing them to move back and get out of the line of fire. So that's what you'll see the TGV lads do. Making their way back towards the spawn. Trying to find maybe a slightly better position. There we go. There's the all charge. So, 19 versus 38. Oh boy. So, let's see how this goes, shall we? Oh, there's a brave fella. Oh, he got one. He got the drummer. That's something at least. Let's see as he goes in for a quick stab and a grab. And ultimately gets felled. And the next 2 rounds will be siege. Uh-oh. Run away. Oh, fine murdering. Bit of stabby goodness going in. Until it's returned to him. Tenfold. More additional Union forces moving out. The Confederate States are on the back foot now with respect to numbers. Let's see how it goes for them. More stabbing coming in. Down goes one of the officers. Not looking good for the Confederate State Army. Currently running backwards at a fair rate of knots. More forces make their way in for the battle. Oh dear, there's an officer being diddled from every direction. And sadly, finished off. We move on. And here we are on the next map. So I've got some bookmarks set up. So here is the bookmark for position A. Quite close to the Confederate quarters. We've got this position here, which is point C. As you can see. And we then move over to point E. So we can move in on these guys, get an idea of what's going on. Bit of bayonet-y practice circle there. We'll have to wait and see as they restart the map. And the lads spawn in the camp. Right, a 3-minute build-up timer. So, they're under instructions not to leave the spawn. 1 sapper and a medic for each team. So look at this. These cannons. Oh goodness me, look at these cannons. Currently being probed by Mr. Turtle. And also Ralakesh. Over on the other side, you've got additional cannons, along with fortified positions for the troops of the Confederate Army to defend this position. So, we move over to one of the Union positions. You can see there's a group over there. Let's go and have a wander. See what they're up to. As you can see, the lads getting set up. 33rd being regimented. Let's set that up as a 4. And you've got additional numbers moving in. Oh, hello. They're already starting to push the point. Look at this. There's POTUS. And these members of the 1st Texas. Fine fifage and drumming going in. So it looks like they may be charging the defensive position of the Confederate State Army. So they have permission to leave spawn. And that's exactly what they're doing. So now we follow the Union forces from North Carolina. And others making their way over. Spawn includes rifle pits. Good to know. So here is the sea point. And you can see now they're starting to get into position to defend. Oh heavens, look at this. Oh, a massive Union charge coming in here. Trying to be defended by the Confederate State Armies. They're trying to break down the spiky barricades. They're keeping them out of the way. But the Union forces are still making their way through. And they still manage to get in and get some kills. Out comes the axe. In comes the Union. Oh my goodness. They're just flooding in. And the rifle pits at sea are being captured. As you can see from the HUD above. Now it's being forcing the enemy to flee. The rifle pits are claimed for the Union. Now, are they going to start moving in on Fort Henry Lyon's main defensive position? We'll have to wait and see. Look at this defensive setup. You've got howitzers, mortars. Big old buggers, as you can see. Lots of explosive goodies with which to wreak havoc on the enemy. So we're just watching now. Here we go, looking at the layout of the defenders. You've got some of the defenders out by the wall on the left-hand side. And now you've also got defenders in the center that's looking a little bit weak on numbers. But the right flank seems to be well protected. We'll have to wait and see how it turns out. Yeah, those guys didn't want to stay outside for too long. They've decided to move back inside Fort Henry. And get themselves into maybe a better position. But the cannonballs are coming in. These guys absolutely unrelenting in their firepower being laid on the rifle pits. And these guys have got to be so careful. They're trying to take cover behind the tents, as we well know. The armoured quality of tents is without comparison. And now you see they've got to get through these barricades. It's going to slow them up. And time is of the essence while they're under fire. This is the kind of charge that they want to do. And now you can see them making their way up onto the rampart wall. Looking over the top to shoot down on the Confederate State forces defending within. And it's an absolute massacre. Now you can see immediately the Confederate State Army inside starts marshalling its troops in towards the center to try and hold that point. That was that weakness I was telling you about. And unfortunately the Union forces, with advantage of numbers, who seem to be taking cover. Oh dear, this is brutal. Standing behind the ramparts, out of trouble, moving up to shoot, and then pulling back. And this is turning out to be a good strategy for the Union. The Confederate States really don't have a lot of cover to hide behind right now. So they're being shot at from literally every single direction. The artillerymen... Oh, look at that. Another shot coming in. The artillerymen don't really have the sort of move-over ability to point the cannon in that direction. And the Union are now starting to flood over to the right-hand side of the ramparts where they can see no boulders blocking their entrance, and they can start pushing in on the enemy forces, which is exactly what it looks like they're doing. And there we go, standing up over the top of the ramparts, firing into the forces inside, while they are literally trying to defend. Now, it could be that they move over onto the far right-hand side to try and flood in, but immediately Confederate State forces start to flood over to the left-hand flank so that they can look down on the enemy trying to get over the ramparts and actually attack. Look at this. This is fantastic stuff to watch. Look at that. Determined attack. In comes a man with an axe. He's determined to show everyone his chopper. Sadly, he was cut down by the bayonet forces. The stabby goodness of the Confederate State Army. And now you can see them moving to try and counteract the Union forces. And steel mortars getting fired in towards that area. A majority of the Union forces remain over on this left-hand flank. But a good bunch of them are moving up onto the right-hand flank. But they're met with a superior number of Confederate State Army forces that are going to hold them to that position. They've got to stick their head over to take a shot. That's an opportunity that the Confederate State Army is looking for. And basically to pop them one in the head. So it's a pretty hectic. And mortar shots going in the center as well. The shrapnel rattling around all over the place. As the forces from the Union moving in to Fort Henry. And you can see here the defensive position on the left-hand side. Now this is one thing that they can't see. They can't see this massive overview. Oh, there we go. Look at that. The Union are in over on the right flank. And now they're pouring in to overwhelm that Confederate State forces in numbers. As a few Union men get killed by our friendly artillery. And look at this as the forces flood into the Confederate State Fort Henry. As the cannons continue desperately to try and cut down the enemy as they're moving into the position. And it looks like Confederate State are just managing to hold it by the skin of their teeth. But now you can see over here, maybe through the center, over on this sort of the right, the Union has now started to fortify their positions and cutting down any Confederate State forces that remain in the area. They've pushed back off the guns, and now they're looking to try and force that advantage. The Confederate State now, look at this. The numbers forming up, trying to find defensive cover behind almost every location they possibly can, and to continue to push the point. As literally they corral the Confederate State Army into a corner. That's the direction they're going to want to go. But if you look here, you can see there's still quite a significant number. Oh heavens, look at this, an ambush coming in from the Confederate State Army. Or sorry, from the Union Army, I should say. Over here on the far left flank. As I struggle to focus on it with the camera. Yeah, I need to adjust my settings, I think. So a nice ambush coming in there. The Confederate State forces were overcome. Their cannon positions were cut down. And now, oh yeah, I'd move if I were you. Yeah, he was AFK and got murdered. So, let's just have an overview to see how the distribution of forces is contained. So you can see the right side now literally overrun with Union forces. The left side with the remainder of the Confederate forces. Here on the left flank of the Union, they're still fighting with Confederates to try. And there we go. They have neutralized Fort Henry Lyon. Wow. So they've managed to overcome them in sheer weight of numbers. 88 on one side, 93 on the other. And look at this, the Confederate forces are fighting to clear out as many of the Union forces as they possibly can. And this is an absolute pitch battle. Absolutely insane. Look at this. The left flank of the Confederate forces coming under a bit of pressure from the Union, but it only seems to be a few of the Union who are providing that pressure. However, right down the center come the Union forces to try and clear up any of the remaining Confederates. But the Confederates continue to trade positions for time and pull back as best they can. Now the question is when will the timer? 6 minutes, 20 seconds, and there you go. The Union are victorious in this siege. And we are back for the next round. This time, now the fort has been taken. The Confederate reinforcements are out for revenge. Now, they will be looking to defend against these Confederate reinforcements that will be pushing them. Let's go and see if we can find some of said Confederate reinforcements. Here they are. Getting ready. Oh, is that a... It's a Hinkle! I wonder if that's the same Hinkle from North and South. If so, it'll be wonderful. Anyway. So, you can see here this spawn.
Of Tennessee, when the Rio Grande is flowing and the starry skies are bright, she walks along the river in a quiet summer night.
Fantastic stuff to hear. Anyway, let's see how the reinforcements manage against the recently captured Fort Henry Lyon. Now, here you can see a massive defensive line of the Union forces. There we go. The timer is over. The setup is complete. And now it's a chance for the Union to defend. Can they hold their advantage of this fort? That's where the question lies. Here is the Lyon. Fort Henry Lyon overview, as you can see. Now you can see here that the Union forces being quite a bit more aggressive. They're moving out towards the rifle pits to try and see what's going on. So, the Union forces being a sight more aggressive. You can see as they're basically getting out to the lines and the ramparts by the rifle pits to try and stop the enemy before they even get to the fort. Be interesting to see how that turns out. It looks like they've committed a large bulk of their forces to exactly that objective. So we'll have to see how it works out for them. Obviously, they do have supportive cannons back here. There we go, point proven. But it's going to be difficult. Now, look at this. Support over on the far right-hand side. The far right over here. You can see a force Who is it? It's the 99th New York. And they are trying to counteract a flanking maneuver by the Confederate State Army.
Keep going! Send them straight back home!
And fine fellows of the 13th Virginia. Look at that axe work being done to break down the barricades. And now you can see the Confederate State forces moving in, being cut down quite significantly by the Union numbers. They seem to be doing an okay job of defending. Let's see if we can find out what's going on the rest of the fort. Oh heavens, oh this is not good. A massive slew of Confederate forces have made their way into the main camp. This is going to be literally a nasty situation for the Union forces. Now they're going to mop up the Union forces who are essentially surrounded over here on the far side. Finish them off and then they can focus their attention on the main assault of Fort Henry Lyon. Fort Henry Lyon. Now, noticing this, the supporting forces who are out in the field up ahead of the fort are now moving over to this left flank to try and counteract the additional forces of the Confederate State Army. Look at this. And now you can see some members of the defensive team being cut down, some being forced to flee. And oh dear, one get cut down in the center. Do you understand? In the middle of open ground. And look at this. More people hiding behind cars, but we approve of such things. And you can see these fine members of the 2nd USC looking for an opportunity to see if they can do an outflanking maneuver as mortars and shells and shrapnel rains down on the defending forces. And this has become almost like urban combat in the center here. Look at this, sneaking in between the... Oh dear, oh, close range murder. And then murdered very quickly in response. It has almost become very urban combat in the center, but now look over here on the Confederates' far left flank. They're starting to push very heavily in. But unfortunately, you can see the defensive position of the Union forces is quite substantial. And they seem to be doing a quite good job of essentially mowing everyone down. And so, the Union forces now are defending that position. Let's move over to the rest of the fort and see what's going on. So you can see this fort not being defended so much as we crash into the ground. Yeah, I'm going to have a word with Olaf about that. So these guys literally are just doing a holding action. And not a huge amount of defenses in this position. They're literally just trying to hold while the bulk of the enemy forces are attacking the right flank of Fort Henry. Which is where you can see all this is occurring. So predominantly the Union forces have the advantage of the battlements. And you can see here that their opposing numbers are using the cover available to them to try and stay out of the trouble. All it's going to take is one artillery shot dropped right in the center, and that could potentially break the back of the Confederate State Army's attack. Now obviously they've still got 10 minutes remaining to get up there. Right now they're kind of blocked in. They're being held in this position and time is not on their side. Let's bear in mind that at this sort of point the Union was sort of flooding in quite significantly. But I think it's fair to say that the Union may stand a very good chance of holding this position, as they've actually moved their forces to the right location to counteract a large bulk of the Confederate State Army. So the defendants' quarters, or the defenders' quarters I should say. It's not a lawyer, but anyway. So you can see they're actually telling them to spawn at the defenders' quarters. so they can keep the numbers and the pressure high on the Confederate State Army. As there we go, we see a charge down the left flank as they try to make their way in. And now immediately they start taking massive amounts of fire as they try and make their way through. Even the officer's got the pistol out, try and shoot the remaining Union man down. And he's managing to dodge all the bullets being fired at him, but considerable fire being laid down by the Union defenders on this rampart here on the right. On the fort's right side. One man makes it in, but won't last very long. So we continue to watch that as we watch over on the left flank. The holding position. Basically to keep the attention. Now look at this. Out here we've got another Union army who are being very aggressive and defending this position here. This is interesting to see. You can see the 3rd US along with other members probably of New York State Volunteers, the 58th, and they are making use of this position to essentially provide an annoyance, really, while the majority of the defense occurs on the right flank of Fort Henry Lyon. Hello. And there we go. See what I mean about the urban combat? The guy's looking for any opportunity to get some cover from the bullets, hiding behind these bulletproof tents, as we all know about. But notice any attempts to move down the left flank in any kind of force of numbers has been essentially prevented by this large concentration of Union forces over here on the right. And you've also got a cannon moving in as well. Wow. So you can see 47th Alabama in as well. And now we're looking in for the Union defensive position here. So this is what they're seeing. The enemy's coming charging in. Some of them starting to push outwards. But the Confederate State Army being held at this position significantly well. They can't really seem to push up in any kind of significant numbers. And that's really breaking the back of their attempts to take the fort back. You can see literally scattered all over the place right now. And now as a result, the Union are getting very aggressive, moving up to the defensive positions of the Confederate State Army. And that's going to be a problem for them. Look what's going on here. There's sneakiness behind the back. So he's backed off. Now, let's see. We look over the defenders' quarters. Still being held. Oh, look at that. The fire coming in all over the place. The fog starting to settle. It's starting to get very tense. Even more tense than being shot at, I guess, but yeah. But look at this. The numbers being pared slowly down of the Confederate State Army over there on the right flank of the fort. Meanwhile, we look at the left flank of the fort. Taking some fire, but with minimal defenders right now. You do have some out here who are getting a little brave by standing up on the ramparts. But we move forward and see this forward defensive position here by the Union Army, which is really causing a massive problem for the Confederate States, because they just can't get to the fort in order to push forward in any numbers, because they're all being pared down by this forward defensive position of the Union. And this is definitely giving the Union forces a massive advantage against the attacking Confederate States. I mean, they are still losing numbers, but the point is that time is ticking. 4 minutes and 18 seconds remaining. And they haven't really managed to make any kind of significant inroads into the fort. The fort is still relatively secure. And that's going to be part of their problem. I mean, you just have to look here, over through the centre of the fort, where there's little to no activity. Over onto the right-hand side of the fort, where a majority of the Union defenders are holding continued attempts to attack by the Confederate State Army. And they're not attacking in significant numbers. Because they're dying too damn quickly for it to actually make any significant difference. And this is where the problem lies for them. Is they can't manage the numbers in order to get up there quickly. Because the forces of the Union defending the ramparts are cutting them down when they stick their head outside one of the tented areas. To the point where now, as a result of that, the Union numbers are getting very aggressive and moving up to try and defeat any of the Confederate State Army, who are now scattered. And their only chance really of getting in would have been a significant force, which they can't really put together right now. And that's going to be the problem for them. So the defensive position there, now you can see Confederate States starting to push in towards the ramparts. But then they're not doing it in any great numbers. There's maybe one or two. That is the problem. There's the guy inside the ramparts, finally made it in. His chances of survival are slim to non-existent, as has just been proven. But maybe, look at that. Maybe it's broken the back of the defensive position over here on the right side of the fort. That the Union is scattered as a result. Now the question is whether or not the Confederate State Army can take advantage of the fact that the defense on the right hand side of the fort has broken. The defenders' quarters, now you can see some of the Union who literally got too aggressive, now outflanked. What's going on with him? What's going on here? Bit of Ramboing going on. Bit of musician murdering occurring. Not sure we approve of that. Is that an Aztir? It is. Yep, that's a late Aztir. So, this is the problem that they have on the fort now. As a result, they weren't able to push home that advantage, albeit very small, allowing the Union forces to bring in reinforcements to bolster that right side of the fort. The left side of the fort, not a lot going on, to be honest. They're still just literally performing a holding motion against the enemy, getting them to keep their head down, essentially. But the rifle pits, I think, being well defended by the advanced Union Army forces here. They're holding this position really well, essentially tying up the Confederate State forces, preventing them from making it anywhere near the fort. And if they do, the fort defenders are waiting for them. So as you can see here, the fort defenders being quite confident to stand up here on the ramparts. And there you have it.